Everyone ready? Should I gavel us in? There you go. Sorry, guys. Joe's keeping me on track today. Thanks, Joe. Joe's my friend. Welcome to the Capital Improvements Committee. We are calling the meeting to order at 10:31 a.m. Julie, would you like to lead us in the pledge? Thanks.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Parker. Here. Berkowitz. Here. Butler.
Here.
Coleman. Richmond. Van Dyne.
Here.
Mueller.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Great, thank you. Next, we move on to the approval of minutes. So I need a motion to approve our meeting minutes from August 6th. I was not here that day, so.
Make a motion. Second for
Can we have a roll call, please? I'll give you a second.
Parker.
Yes.
Berkowitz.
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Van Dyne.
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. Next, old business facilities update. Mr. Fern, come join us today. Good to see
Everybody have a
you.
great long weekend.
Yes, I hope everyone did.
Well, this one's a little thick this week, this month.
Good.
We had quite a
That
bit
means you had a
going on.
busy month.
Yes, very busy. So Tim will just roll right through. This is the aerial view. It's actually considerably greener now than that picture. We took the fence down as of last Friday, so the space is open and being maintained. All the statistics there stayed the same. The roof has been completely done for roughly 2 months. We are having an issue with the contractor sourcing the sealant for the brick in the color we chose. It had to be custom mixed.
Hmm.
So there is a little delay on time now for the brick sealant, and it is temperature sensitive, the application. We chose the one bottom right where the yellow arrow is, that it'll match most of the building. So the building is not going to look like an albatross with multiple colors when you drive around the outside of it. So we expect delivery in a week. If we don't have it in a week or so, we're going to end up having an issue with this contractor because they didn't perform according to contract. And we would have to move the sealant till springtime because it's temperature sensitive.
What happens to the building in the meantime if it
It's
doesn't have
fine.
the
It's
sealant?
the building's still sealed. We're doing an extra and going all around and making it uniform, especially in the areas where we tuck pointed and did brickwork.
Okay, so if we end up having to wait till spring,
No
it's
harm,
not going to create.
no harm on our
damage.
side, but it's going to be an
Or-
issue for them.
Yeah, because as soon as something has to wait, we'll have some crazy winter that, damages something, so. Okay, great.
Sunny Hill Nursing Home, we are mobilizing next week with material for the domestic hot water boiler replacement. Those boilers, when they were put in, were 16 times oversized for whatever reason. So we're running a boiler as big as this room for domestic hot water, where these will be more high efficiency and they'll stage themselves on and stage themselves off as needed. So this one was paid for with a grant from Brianna and the team, Resource for Energy, Renewable Energy, and completely paid for by them. And there's going to be a little extra, but that'll be for the building automation system, and the county will pick up that.
And I assume they're going to be much more efficient than
Oh.
what's there before, so
They'll
they'll probably
take one.
cost us less to operate.
We're looking at 30% gas usage. less.
less, 30%
Right.
less than we
And then
were
we
before.
get-
Fantastic.
Then we get a rebate on that as well. So
Yeah.
not only do we get the job paid for, but we're also going to get capital rebates.
Nice.
Well, in a couple of months, we'll have a slideshow presentation on that with the rebates. We just did lighting at River Valley and we did lighting at the building across the street. By putting in the new LEDs and taking out the old 4-bulb fluorescents, it's about 20% on the electric bill.
Did I hear you say, and I apologize for walking in late.
No worries.
Did I hear you say correctly? It was oversized 16 times?
16%.
Oh,
16 times what it was needed.
16 times
There's
was
two Kiwani boilers in there that are roughly 30 feet long and 10 feet high for domestic hot water.
And how long ago was that put in?
It's in the 60s, I want to say.
Oh, okay.
I don't have the exact date off the top of my head, but
No, that's-
they're old. But they were,
Okay.
I think they planned on expansion out there at some point. It was going to get built bigger, and bigger, and they
Yeah.
never did. So these two boilers modulate, and
No, it's,
the consumption is huge.
no. it's-
We're gonna see a great-
consumption that- Yeah, okay. Thank you. I
Yeah.
apologize. I just,
No worries.
thank you.
It,
Sorry.
it was odd for me to hear too. And I was going to ask him, why do you think they did that? But he just said, because they probably anticipated
That's the only thing
expanding.
I can
So
think.
now I
There's
understand.
no drawings, there's nothing in writing that says why they were so big, but that would be the only common
Right.
sense. Unless they were gonna heat the parking lots and, do geothermal of some kind of,
Right.
yeah.
We're going to get real fancy.
So we all know we had those storms roll through roughly a week apart, beginning of the month. And this is the CAC, the old CAC across the street. That's the back parking lot. It took out a fence and roughly a 30-foot section of asphalt. That's the root ball coming out. We finally did the dock repairs here. It was a long process. We were getting water infiltration into the clerk's office and where they store the equipment downstairs. So with the concrete repair, the new asphalt, new sidewalk along the building, we basically rebuilt the whole dock. Tuck pointed the retaining wall behind the generator. And then as soon as we finished, the city came through to do the handicap and cut out 2 squares. So they did replace. If we could have timed it, we wouldn't have to lose 2 squares of concrete. The numbers for the contract for the loading dock did not change. Snapshot in a day. This is just gives everybody a little idea of what's going on. We are rolling into a new work order system. Everybody knows it as Hippo. We just put the mobile app on the county workers' phones, the facilities team's phones, and it'll probably be 30 days. And we'll get a communication out to everybody through Michael Theodore describing the new one. It's the same company, but they were bought by a Canadian company called Aptura. So the logo will change, but the whole process will actually be a little easier. It'll have more drop downs, click, drop down, what building you're in, what the work request is, a little bit of extra verbiage, and then your information. So Bob is 9 months with us now, going into his 10th month. I hired him for the Sunny Hill nursing home, and when Ed Papish retired, he showed such skill set that we actually promoted him to facilities lead internally, and he's attended every weekend activity that the county's hosted, whether it's the farmers market, the food giveaway, the pantry in the parking lot, the Kids Fest. And Ed, one of his many talents, I didn't know he knows how to make balloon animals. So he actually brought his son and was making balloon animals at the Kids Fest all on his own, just decided he was going to do it. So I just want to give him a shout out from everybody that this gentleman is one heck of a team player. And I continue to get accolades from everybody in the building and everybody on this side of this city that Bob works with. So congratulations for Bob.
I have to tell you, this is really funny you bring this up because somebody told me about getting a balloon animal at something and they were like, I don't know who the employee is, who the balloon animal guy is. I'm like, we don't have a balloon. Like, we didn't hire somebody to make balloon animals. What is this? Like, I was very perplexed when I thought, yeah, somebody's dad, somebody, but now I'm like, oh, no,
Yep.
now I know where the balloon animal came from.
Yeah,
Cause
that's
I'm like, a
one of our
balloon
guys.
animal guy. We had a balloon animal guy. Yeah. He works for the county. I'm like, I don't know who he was, so.
He's made
But
every,
a parent was very impressed and they're quite pleased with their child's happiness.
thank you.
So you can let him know.
Great team player. And then the search has been a long time coming. We finally have an executive admin, Michelle. And then it's almost been a year in the makings to get a life safety specialist that'll work with us and EMA to bring all the buildings into compliance. He was a firefighter, retired, and comes to us with great experience. We've already been through about 6 of the buildings, evacuation plans, things that were just overlooked on a daily basis that might need tweaking, exit signage, emergency exits, some stairs that were the wrong size in the archives building, things that we would have never noticed if it wasn't for Philip's expertise. So those are 2 new employees to the team. Currently, we're only 1 employee short, and that's the afternoon person at River Valley Juvenile Detention Center, and we will be fully staffed.
That's great. I just got to meet Mr. Smith outside. He was numbering the doors on the outside of the building. And I told him that's really helpful for people who need to know which door to enter on the building, like parents at the high schools, you know? And I'm like, I know you're doing it for fire safety,
Yeah.
but like, thanks, this will help us help people.
We will work through the fire service and the fire department here, but what we're doing is when they get the audible alarm from this building, whether it's at pole station or a phone call, they'll know which door to enter through closest to the actual action. So that's good. And then we found out that like the rally point on this building was on the Chicago side. That's where the Siamese connection is, and that's where the hydrant's at. So we don't want everybody running to that side. We want to put them across the parking lot. So little things that we're developing. He's into his 3rd week with us, and we're just go, go, go. It has been nonstop. He's AED trained and CPR. So we'll be holding classes. Once he gets his grounds and his bearing, we'll be holding classes to bring everybody up to anybody that wants a class.
Great. Julie and then Annette.
Thank you, Bill. So he also addresses and makes sure we comply with all the ADA requirements, correct?
We haven't started with anything with the ADA, but most of our buildings are, and anything that we'd see that would be a deficiency would probably be already grandfathered in because of the age of the buildings, but
Mhm.
any new buildings,
Mhm.
we would definitely make sure.
So Phil will follow that.
Absolutely.
And then is he part of EMA or part of
No,
facilities?
he's facilities,
He's
but we'll cross
facilities.
lines every now and then and help EMA when needed. Because EMA
Yeah.
did these original evacuation drawings. So
Mhm.
now we'll work through Allison and her team to update and maybe change.
Okay.
They'll probably be assisting us more than we'll be
Yeah.
assisting them.
And it makes sense you'll be working together on certain things. Now, one question I did have is regarding our training and education for tornadoes. Do we have that or,
Not that I'm aware of.
and I
I
think,
believe that's all done through Allison at this point.
okay. Yeah, I think it's something we should consider and bring into the county, especially,
The safety book on that aspect is about 2 inches thick, and we're just getting into it to find out what the county has and what they don't.
okay,
And with Allison being gone for the DNC, she's just back a week. So I want to let her
okay.
get her bearings before we.
All right. So
kind of
we
make
are,
sure.
that is on the list of
Definitely.
things to do.
Yep.
Do most of our facilities have basements? I know we have a basement here.
Yes.
Do you have a basement across the
We've
street?
got- That's
Okay.
on slab. But
Okay.
we would just center of the building.
All right.
But most of they're concrete buildings too.
Yeah,
Some of these buildings were repurposed multiple times too. So
they're bunkers.
some of them are.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
I just had a question. Where are their offices located?
We're directly across the street in the old CAC.
Here, okay, thank you.
Yep. And that's where we'll be holding some of the training as well. All more to come on all of it.
Great. Okay. Is there anything else to update us on? Looks like it's all done. Does anyone have any other questions for Mr. Fern? Okay. Okay, go ahead. You got to turn your button on. So I can,
Recently.
There you go.
when the individual was crossing the street and was hit leaving the detention facility. Do you remember? And maybe that was 5 or 6 months ago.
Unaware of that.
Okay, apparently they had just been released and crossed the street and a truck hit them, unfortunately. Is there anything with that particular stretch of road? And I think it's right before you hit, I should know the name of the street, it's this one
McDonough.
right here. Before you hit that viaduct, is there like anything we can do to address the fact that people would have to cross that street to go to the parking lot? It could be dark.
Are we talking the old courthouse or are we
Where are
talking?
you?
No, we're talking,
Valley,
it may have been River Valley, just,
Yeah.
don't know.
It sounds,
um,
yeah.
it was about 4 months ago and they had just been released and they got hit by a truck, unfortunately. And,
I'm sorry, I'm unaware of it.
okay, is it something we could kind of look into? And
I don't know where it happened.
right.
I
I guess
what?
we'd have to
I'll
ask
find
the
out and I'll send it. to you.
sheriff or,
Would you please?
Yeah,
That would be wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, we can always look at it.
it's not our jurisdiction, I
Yeah.
guess. Um,
Joe's made some wonderful signage
um,
additions to the.
Right.
well, and I think too that
I think that would.
I
be good.
believe where you're talking about is right along by maybe the ADF building where we've been doing the roof. And I think that's street it's Joliet. I don't know that it's us, that jurisdiction on that road right there. It's not, I know it's
Yeah.
not county.
Well,
I'm not sure who it is.
I-
State. Yeah.
But I think we should maybe
I hear what you're saying.
encourage people, because if they're leaving our facility, we're releasing people or even people who visit, and there's that risk. I think we have a
at
concern
the
for their
ADF,
safety.
There is signage and a very large
Pedestrian walk.
crossing. Yeah,
Is
it's all,
there?
it's
Yeah.
all painted.
And I know you can't
Very
make it
visible.
foolproof, but I don't know. All right, thank you,
Thank you,
Bill.
absolutely.
I'll send it to you.
So I'm not sure, you mentioned DMA, so I'm just going to ask and anyone please help redirect me. But I was just concerned with like the river gauge and that Plainfield pays for. And you talked about evacuations and stuff like that. I was just wondering, what department do we kind of bring up that information on
I
that?
don't understand. I didn't.
You know
hear
what I'm talking about?
That would be Allison. with that.
Probably the
Yeah,
emergency
with the
management office.
Okay, but none of our committees would deal with that?
I guess I
I-
don't
That's
understand.
what
Are
I-
you asking about like tornado safety?
Well, about flooding?
Flooding, okay,
When we had the ice dams
okay,
on the river, that was all Allison's team.
yeah.
And she,
Yeah, so
evacuated
I guess
places.
what I'm asking is I just didn't know how to move forward with suggesting that we help fund that river gauge and take some of the burden off of Plainfield. Because I don't know, maybe it's finance, but I guess Plainfield pays for it, but we're all benefiting from it because, the river gauge, really helps for flooding situations. And I just didn't know where to bring it up. So I was just.
Oh,
I would
well, and
probably
I
start.
wasn't even aware of this, so thank you. Joe, who does deal with a lot of this down by him, just turned on his light. I'm gonna, number 4. Let's see, my God.
Well, just try to add to the conversation, be helpful. Dan, that's been an issue brought up at our Stormwater Management Committee for a few months now, and that money, I don't know if there's enough available this year, but possibly next year to help fund that. So that would be the committee's decision.
Yeah, so I'm not, I know what you're saying,
Mhm.
because I'm on that committee too. But instead of them burdening the responsibility for having to pay for that river gauge, I just thought maybe that would be something that the county would want to take on, like in a lot of other counties, they control and pay for the river gauges. So I just wanted to take it off the stormwater and see if we couldn't, with EMA, I don't know how to get it to there. So I didn't know if
Well,
this
I
was
mean,
the
so if
committee,
EMA
capital
wanted to do,
improvement.
if EMA wanted to do that, they would have to put it in their budget request. So since we're working on the budget right now, that would have to be something they would have to request in their budget, I believe is the process for when they want to do stuff like that. So I guess we'd have to ask Allison if that is something that their department, I mean,
That's where I would start.
that's where I think we should definitely start, Dan. But I appreciate you bringing it up. Because Plainfield has not reached out to me at all about that. So I'm glad to hear that you're asking that. Yeah. Oh, Julie, I didn't see your light was on again. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Great. Anything else, guys? Okay, thanks.
Thank you very
Bill.
much.
I don't think we have any other old business. Any public comment? Any email public comments or anything? Okay, and nobody in the room? Okay. Great. Announcements and reports by the chair. I just want to say thanks to everyone who jumped in and helped me out last month when I had to leave town. My sister's she's doing okay. She's doing pretty good. I'll probably have to take a couple more trips out to Ann Arbor to help out here and there. But it really helped me a lot to be able to jump in and take care of her family. So thanks everyone for backing me up and filling in when I wasn't here. Otherwise, we don't have a need for executive session. No need for executive session. So we need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Do I get a second? All in favor? Any opposed? We stand adjourned until next month, October 1st.